If you need to take an IELTS exam but you don't know much about it yet, then this video is for you. I'm gonna tell you how to prepare for this exam quickly, what resources to use, how to book your exam, and obviously answer other questions you might have. So, ready? Let's get started. Let's talk about the two types of the IELTS exam, IELTS academic and general training. If you're going to study abroad, you need to take IELTS academic. If you are going to join your family in an English speaking country, then you need to take IELTS general training. If you want to work abroad, you need to check what type of exam is required. But basically, 80% of all people take IELTS academic. It's much more common, but if you can select, if you have an option like both types are accepted, take IELTS general training. It's a little bit easier. And you might have heard about IELTS UKVI. That is not a separate type of the exam. It's the same IELTS academic and IELTS general training, but it's taken in a room with video recording. That's because Britain wants to be sure that the correct candidate takes the test, and in the past there were some incidents of cheating with other English language exams. So IELTS UK visas and immigration is video recorded. That's the only difference. Otherwise it will be the same IELTS academic or general training. It's a little bit more expensive though, and when you are booking your exam, it will be written if it is your UKVI or not. So make sure you choose the correct format. IELTS costs between 10,000 15,000 Indian rupees, or let's say 220 or 250 US dollars. So it's definitely worth preparing for the exam, and I would say that you should start your preparation. First, assess how much time you need and then book your exam. And actually, if you plan to take your exam in winter, you can book it 1 or 2 weeks in advance. But at the end of spring and in summer, the demand of IELTS goes through the roof, and sometimes there is nothing available for weeks and months. I had students who had to travel to another city or even another country to take their IELTS exam. So make sure that you book your exam early during this hot period. Okay, so how to book your IELTS exam? You go to IELTS.org, select book a test, select your country, and if you are lucky, your city will be available and you will see all the tests that are available. All the test centers, sometimes there is only one company, sometimes there are several. Basically there are two companies which administer the IELTS exams, British Council and ITP. But test centers in your country may have another name. It really doesn't matter because all tests are the same. They are written by Cambridge English. All examiners take the same training. So there is no test that is easier or a test that is more difficult. The only difference is if you take a computer based or a paper based test. If you see a computer icon, it means that a computer based IELTS is available at this test center. Most IELTS exams are still taken on paper, but more and more centers are rolling out the computer based version. I have taken both. I prefer to take it on a computer because I think it's easy to select answers in IELTS listening and reading. I like that. You're guaranteed to have earphones for your listening section in a paper-based exam. You may have loudspeakers, but I think the deal breaker is how quickly you type. Do you prefer to type 2 essays, or are you a slow typers? Then and then you have to write them. The speaking exam is always the same. It's a face-to-face interview. I have a detailed video with all the differences between a paper-based and a computer-based versions coming soon. It will help you decide which one is right for you. Let's talk about the test format. IELTS consists of 4 sections, and I'm gonna tell you about the differences between IELTS academic and general training. Then when you be looking for information for your preparation, you can easily decide if this piece of information is for you or not. Okay, so IELTS listening is the same for both academic and general training students. It lasts for 30 minutes and you need to answer 40 questions. The next section is IELTS reading. Again, 40 questions and 60 minutes. And here academic students, get 3 longer texts which are more scientific, and general students get 5 short texts which are less scientific, and I would say they are a little bit easier. That's why in general training you need to answer more questions correctly to achieve the same score in IELTS reading as academic students. Next is IELTS writing, and here you are given 2 tasks and 60 minutes. Task 1 is different for academic and general training students. Academic students need to write a report describing a chart, a table or a graph, map or a diagram. Okay, general training students need to write a letter, and task 2 is very much the same for both type of the exam. So these 3 sections are taken together either on paper or on a computer, and IELTS speaking is separate. You may actually need to travel to the test center on a different day for your speaking exam, and it's always a face-to-face interview with an examiner that lasts between 11 to 40 minutes, and it's the same for both type of the exam. How to prepare for the IELTS exam? There is nothing like taking a free practice test to get a taste of what the IELTS exam is about, and I think you should really use official practice tests in your preparation, because those are written by the same people who create exam papers. So they are the same level of difficulty, the same types of the same wording, task. Other practice tests are not like that, and several official tests are available for free. You can buy more if you want. I'm gonna tell you all of them, and in IELTS listening and reading. Once you take a practice test, you count how many questions you answer correctly, and you know what your score is. Then you can learn about different strategies. You can learn how to approach each type of task. You can practice and your score will improve. And actually, because people know about this, they often dedicate a lot of effort to these 2 sections, and but it may be a huge mistake. It's why, because statistically people get the lowest score in IELTS writing and the second lowest in IELTS speaking, and that's because these 2 sections require you to actively produce English, while in listening and reading you only need to understand. But also that's because IELTS examiners use a set of specific criteria to assess your answers in reading and speaking, and if you don't know what those are and you don't know how to meet them, then you're not gonna get a very good score, even if your English skills are actually quite good. So you should really prepare for these 2 sections. I have prepared for you a free IELTS study plan. It will give you 5 steps for your preparation. If you're interested, you can contact us. And let me tell you about a couple of books for your preparation now. Number 1, IELTS Academic Practice Test, and you can get the same book but General Training Practice Test. This one is number 14, and the latest is number 15, 16 is also there, and so on. And at the end of the book you get a sample answers with a band score that will help you to understand what level you need to achieve in your writing for a certain score. So that's really good, and this one is the official guide to IELTS. It's really thick because it includes tips, exercises and practice tests. I quite like the book, particularly if you have a bit more time for your preparation and you can work on your English skills as well as your IELTS skills. But one thing I feel that the book doesn't explain in depth how to improve your score in IELTS writing, but other than that it's quite a good book. Now let's talk about when you should start your preparation and how long it's gonna take. And the third thing I want to say is start preparing as early as possible. if you know you need to take this exam, start preparing now. Basically with IELTS it's pretty difficult to assess what score you are gonna get before you start doing anything. You know, I know people who freak out before their exam and then achieve an incredibly high score, and I know many people, you know, who feel confident about their English and then fail their exam by a quite, you know, a large margin. So you need to give yourself time to prepare and pass the exam. For many people, you know, it's possible to pass the exam quickly, and then it's great because the certificate is valid for 2 years and you can use it later. But if not, you still have time to change the result. Let's talk about the IELTS scores. Your IELTS result will depend on your English skills, of course, but it can still vary depending on how well you are prepared for your IELTS exam. And the goal of your IELTS preparation is to achieve the best score you can achieve at your current level of English. So I call these, you know, as IELTS skills essential. IELTS preparation should take you just a couple of weeks. That's where you learn about different strategies, different tasks you practice, and then if you feel ready, you can go and take your test. You can follow, you know, the 5 steps in the IELTS study plan, and it will give you everything for this essential preparation. But then if you feel that IELTS writing and speaking are difficult for you, then you may need more advanced preparation. You need to learn about, you know, each criterion that IELTS examiners use. You need to learn structure for your answers. You need to learn how to practice different types of answers so that, you know, it will take a little bit longer. Again, depending on how much time you have, I would say from, you know, 1 to 3 months, and that's where you can use my IELTS course. They will teach you everything you need to know about IELTS writing and speaking in as little time as possible, and I will link them in the description. If you are interested, you can contact us. So by the end of the preparation, you should really go and take your exam, and if you don't achieve the score you desire, then the reason is your English skills, and you should take an intensive English course. And you know, if you really dedicate your time to, you know, improving your English, you can achieve amazing result in 6 months. And if you start your preparation early, you will have, you know, these 6 months to improve if you need. So but hopefully you will pass your exam much more quickly, and I think that's everything you need to know to get started with your IELTS preparation. Please subscribe to our channel to get more study plan, and see you in the next video. Good luck. Bye.